Business bosses gathered in London to offer a salutary warning to the Chancellor. No more tax raids if you want companies to help pave the way to growth. The CBI chief is the latest big hitter, complaining about the budget's £25 billion national insurance tax raid.
I think tax changes like this should never be done again to businesses. The pain is real for businesses and it's really tough. The decisions that budget have made it harder.
And you praise them for delivering on some of the stability that this country has needed. Is stability going to be enough?
Stability is a precondition for growth, but it's not the ultimate solution. The growth is going to come from businesses deciding to invest in the UK, and for that we need to see more from this Chancellor.
Business confidence is taking a bit of a beating at the moment. Today the CBI said that 2/3 of their members say that Labour's budget has hurt investment, while half their members think it'll hurt jobs. All against the backdrop where business surveys suggest that economic activity has shrunk for the first time in over a year. Plus all the worries about inactivity in this country. 1 in 5 people are not working, with the disability bill set to rise to £63 billion by the end of this Parliament, matching what we spend on defence or education. The new Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, talked about how capitalism and wealth should not be considered dirty words.
I know that it is not government that creates growth, it is business. Government often needs to get out of the way.
At the CBI, many in the room want government involvement and a clear muscular industrial strategy. What they're less keen on is the budget's tax rises.
It is a disincentive at the moment to jobs.
I think it's going to make people pause and make people think. No one likes taxes.
I think they've got a lot of work to do.
It's a small, short-term pain, but I'm hoping there's gain at the end of it.
This is the toughest budget since the Second World War.
Chancellor of the Exchequer.
But Reeves was brooking no criticism. The public finances are hard and so too are the tax choices, she said.
I've heard a lot of feedback. What I haven't heard are many alternatives. Businesses can now be certain that we're never going to have to do a budget like that again. And so while the decisions were difficult, I do believe it was better to do all of that in one go rather than to do half a job this year and then leave uncertainty hanging over all of you for another year when I come back for more. I haven't done that. We have now wiped the slate clean. You can be confident that we're not going to have to come back again and do another budget like this. So you can be confident about the tax rates we've set for this Parliament. And public services now need to live within the means that we've set them.
Retailers and restaurants have been the big casualties of the tax changes, but other companies more focused on energy and infrastructure have been the winners of Labour's economic vision.
If we all run around, like Dad's army going, we're doomed, we're doomed, we're doomed, you're sure as hell we'll be doomed. So there are always people who feel like I lost in the budget. Okay? We just need to get beyond that. And the faster we get beyond that conversation, the better.
Rachel Reeves' promises to business mean Labour have once again tied their hands. She will need growth and their industrial strategy to really deliver, if her words are not to be undone.
And Ray Newton-Smith, the Director General of the Confederation of British Industry, is here with me now. Now, it's hard not to see this as a bit of sort of business huffing and puffing, because the Chancellor had already said this was a one-off reset, and then your message today has been, well, don't do this again. And she said, well, OK. I mean, what was it all about?
I think what's really important to say is the business leaders I've been speaking to is the budget was really tough on business, and the decisions they are having to make, because we are seeing higher contributions from national insurance, means that it's harder for them to invest. It's harder for them to create the jobs they want to create in our local communities. So whether you're a theatre and you're not making a profit this year and already this is going to take more out of your bottom line next year. They want to be growing, but it's really difficult. And if you're a further education college and you want to be providing courses that help people back into work, you are also facing this cost. So I think we need to acknowledge the challenges businesses are facing, and we need to make sure that we make it easier for them to invest and grow going forward.
But what did they expect? You know, when you were all sitting down for these smoked salmon breakfasts, did it not occur to any of you that taxes might have to go up?
I think businesses acknowledge we need to fund our public services. Everyone really sees the pressure on the NHS and the need to get funding to deliver to our frontline services. But over the long term, the only way we can fund those public services is by encouraging investment and growth in the UK economy. And I think, as you heard there from Keith Anderson, there are so many business leaders who are really defiant about the UK's capability. We have world-leading universities, we've got creative industries, we've got manufacturers, we've got...
So what do you want them to do?
So we want them to have this conversation about how do we really drive growth and investment in the UK.
And what's the answer to that?
Well, I think
what
there's
do
a
you want
few.
from government?
I think in the immediate, we need to take off some of the pressure on businesses' bottom line. So the Chancellor is committed to reforming business rates. We really need to make sure that that works for retail and hospitality, but also makes it easier for our manufacturers, our aviation sector, to invest and choose to invest in the UK economy. And we also need to think about the growth and skills levy. The government have committed to doing that. Let's bring that flexibility into how the apprenticeship levy funds are used now so that businesses can invest in the training that our workforce needs. And we need to double down on our capability and set out that blueprint for how the UK is competitive on a global sphere.
And how important are these supply side reforms and planning and all of that? You know, will that deliver the growth you want?
So I think absolutely ensuring that planning decisions are made more quickly. That is one of the things that's been holding back investment. That will absolutely make a difference, but that really is about our growth over the long term. So we also need to make it easier for CFOs across the land to say, right, as a result of the decisions that have been taken at this budget and in future budgets, I'm going to decide to invest more in the UK. I'm going to take a risk on someone who maybe has been out of work for a period of time, because we know there are over 9 million people who've been out of work, and we need to help them into work and make sure that they are able to contribute to our economy.
But in the short term, you're asking for, I mean, having had a tax raise, you now want a tax cut in business rates. I mean, do you want that for everyone, or do you want that to be just targeted at the people who are really struggling?
What we're saying is you need to reform business rates to really make it easier for businesses to invest in making their buildings more energy efficient, to invest in building and expanding some of our transport infrastructure. There are things that can be done to reform the business rate system to really get investment and growth going. That isn't something that's going to be done tomorrow. That is something that the Chancellor has committed to, but will be implemented over the next 18 months.
And how worried are you that, I mean, you know, you said you'll don't do it again, but ultimately, if more money is required, the government is still committed to not raising income tax and VAT and national insurance for employees. It might come back for more in some other form, mightn't it?
Well, I think we will hold the Chancellor to account for the words that she said at our conference today, which
all she said is we won't raise national insurance again.
But she said I took the tough decisions at this budget so I wouldn't have to come back for more next year. And so she knows that we need to see business investment growing. She knows
what if we have to double defence spending? You know, Donald Trump pulls the plug, we need to raise it to 3%,
whatever. The Chancellor will always have tough
you know.
choices to make. But what's really important is when she is making those decisions, she talks to CFOs, she talks to businesses who are really on the front line of making those decisions as to, do I invest now in the UK? Do I take a chance on hiring more people? Do I open that new store? Because those are the difficult decisions business leaders have to make. They want to invest in the UK, they want to be creating jobs, but we've got to make it easier for them to say, I'm going to invest now, I'm going to create those jobs today.
Rachel Reeves, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.